Hello, everyone. Welcome to Celsius 233, your go-to place for fiction book summaries. Today, we will get lost in the pages of The Story Girl by L.M. Montgomery. The Story Girl, published in 1911 by Lucy Maud Montgomery, is a delightful novel set on Prince Edward Island, Canada. It follows a group of children as they explore the wonders and challenges of growing up on a rural farm. At the heart of the narrative is Sara Stanley, a young girl with a captivating gift for storytelling. Through her enchanting tales, Sara brings magic to the everyday lives of the children around her, weaving folklore and family history into their adventures. This coming-of-age story captures the charm of rural life, childhood imagination, and the complexities of friendship and family. Plot summary. On a bright May morning, young Beverly King and his brother Felix left their home in Toronto, filled with excitement about their journey to Prince Edward Island. The boys were going to live on the family's ancestral farm for the summer, under the care of their Uncle Alec and Aunt Janet. The prospect of seeing the land where their father had grown up, with its sprawling orchard and the King family homestead, filled them with a sense of adventure. They hadn't met all their cousins yet, but they knew about Felicity, Cecily, and Dan, children who would soon become central to their days. When they arrived at the old King farm, they were warmly welcomed by their aunt and uncle. Soon, they met their cousins, Felicity, a beautiful but somewhat vain girl, Cecily, sweet and gentle, and Dan, a lively boy who quickly took to them. But it was Sara Stanley, their cousin known as the Story Girl, who captured their imaginations from the moment they met her. She wasn't like anyone else. Sara wasn't traditionally pretty, but there was something about her, a spark of life, a magic in her voice, that made the boys see her in a way they had never seen anyone before. Sara's voice had an enchanting quality. When she spoke, the ordinary world transformed. It was as if her words turned everyday things into scenes from a grand and beautiful tapestry. The children often gathered around her, completely mesmerized by the stories she told, tales of their ancestors, ghosts, and legends that filled the air with wonder. One of her favorite places to tell stories was the King Orchard, which itself was rich with family history. Every tree had a story, every corner held a memory. The summer passed in a series of adventures where reality and imagination intertwined. The children explored the orchard and fields, climbed trees, and discovered hidden corners of the farm. They played games and enacted the stories Sara told them, sometimes even inventing their own. One of their closest friends was Peter Craig, a hired boy who worked on the farm. Though Peter came from a humble background, he quickly became a cherished part of their group, especially drawn to the Story Girl's tales. Throughout their adventures, the children's personalities began to shine more vividly. Felicity, for all her vanity, was a talented cook, always proud of the meals she could prepare. But she was also stubborn and not easily swayed by others, especially when it came to Peter, whom she saw as below her. Cecily, on the other hand, grew more endearing with her quiet charm, always trying to keep the peace between her siblings and friends. Dan's mischief was a constant source of amusement, and Beverly and Felix felt more at home with each passing day. One of the most fascinating tales Sara told was of the King family ghost, a spectral figure believed to haunt the orchard. According to legend, a young woman named Emily King, who had tragically lost her lover, could sometimes be seen waiting beneath the trees, dressed in the pale blue muslin gown she had worn the day she received the news of his death. The children, both enthralled and slightly spooked, could never quite shake the feeling that they might glimpse her pale figure among the shadows of the trees. Sara's stories often blurred the line between reality and fantasy, making every day an adventure. But the summer wasn't just about games and stories. There were moments of learning and growing for each of them. When Sara invited Peter to join them at church, it caused a stir among the children. Felicity, with her pride in family status, was less than pleased about Peter's inclusion. Yet Peter's sincerity and willingness to change made an impact on everyone. Despite his rough upbringing, he was intelligent, thoughtful, and resourceful, and by the end of the summer, even Felicity's feelings toward him began to soften. As the days slipped by, the children shared experiences that would remain in their hearts forever. The Story Girl's gift made the simple moments of their lives feel extraordinary. Whether they were planting flowers in the garden, helping Aunt Janet with household chores, or simply lying in the grass watching clouds, everything took on a special significance. Together, they attended weddings, funerals, and fairs, each event colored by the unique perspectives of the story girls' tales. By the end of the summer, the children had not only grown closer to each other, but also to the land and the history that surrounded them. Beverly and Felix, once visitors to the island, now felt like they belonged to it as much as any of their cousins. It was hard to leave the farm and return to their life in the city, but they carried with them the stories, the memories, and the magic of that golden summer. As they prepared to return to Toronto, they knew they were leaving behind more than just a place. They were leaving behind a chapter of their lives filled with wonder, imagination, and the discovery of who they were, not only as individuals, but as a family. Yet, they also knew that the stories they had lived and heard that summer would remain with them forever, binding them to each other and to the island in a way that nothing else ever could. If this book pulled you in, don't stop here. Explore the rest of the Story Girl series by L.M. Montgomery. Check the description or search Celsius 233. Remember, while our summaries capture the essence, they can never replace the full experience of reading the book. If this summary intrigued you, consider diving into the complete story, buy the book, and immerse yourself in L.M. Montgomery's original work. Bye-bye, take care, have fun.